Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, driving 56 miles per hour down Interstate 80, yelling at the top of my lungs through the headset here. Right now, Brooke, Minge, her dog, and myself, we are skirting the Great Salt Lake in the great state of Utah. So it's a pleasure to be with you from here. But before I go any further, I would like to introduce the Celtic Queen of Questionable Comforts, Her Holiness Amelia Centaura. Hello, Amelia.
Hello, Chrism. Hello, Brooke. Delighted that you're able to be online for everybody this evening. The chat room is open, Chrism, and I can see who's there. So I'm saying hello to Elizabeth, Lorne, Mary Jean, Cole, and there are a few people being bounced on and off, so they'll be joining us again shortly. So I'll keep an eye on that, Chrism, throughout the show, and I will let you know if there's any questions. And I have a few questions gathered as well. So do you want to begin the show straight away, and I can do some announcements later?
Go ahead and do your announcements first, Amelia.
Okay, I will do that so. Well, welcome everybody, and like I always do, I will once again let you know where you can go if you want to make a donation that will support the work that Chrism does regarding Kundalini awakening and supporting people who are going through that process. You can go to www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com, and in the upper right-hand corner you will see the donate button, and it's very easy to donate after you see that. Just click on the button and it's easy peasy. As I say every week, easy peasy, just follow the instructions. And as I say every week, there is no obligation on anybody who's listening to make a donation. However, if you want to, and if you want to, if you're in a position to donate, I'll actually go so far as to say this week, or to encourage you to donate. Don't let it up to other people. Make that donation, because it assists not just Chrism in paying bills, but it assists all of us, because it allows him to be that supportive and amazing teacher for people on Facebook, on Yahoo, on all the places that he does this work, including here. So again, that's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. Thank you, Chrism.
Thank you, Amelia. Now, if you could ask people in the chat room if the sound is coming through clearly, could they give an indication?
Okay. Everybody in the chat room, I'm sure you heard Chrism. So can somebody, Elizabeth or Lorne or somebody, please let us know how the sound is. How's the sound that Chrism, how's his voice, and how is mine? Any echoes or feedback? Is it okay? Cole is typing.
Oh, good. Because this is a new headset.
You have a new headset there, yeah? Cole says it sounds fine. Less clear than usual, but still clear enough. Elizabeth says yes, and Lauren says good for me. So that sounds like a go-ahead, Chrism.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, welcome, everybody. And I'd like to give a few other websites out. Kundalini Awakening Systems, #1.com. And I would like to thank everybody who donated to keep that website on the internet for another year. So many thanks to all of you who donated for that. We also have Chrism Kundalini, which I would like to thank Carolyn for, as she has designed that. It's very beautiful. It's a very fast website. So if you're interested in some more of the teachings that come through the Kundalini and me, go to KundaliniKundalini.com. And once again, thank you to Carolyn. You can go to the YouTube Chrism.Kundalini on the YouTube network, as well as Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 at Yahoo Groups on the Yahoo Group network. And on Facebook, we're at Kundalini Awakening ! We're also at Kundalini Awakening Systems 2, Kundalini Awakening Systems 3, and Kundalini Healing on the Facebook network. So please feel free to join us there, in addition to joining us here on Blog Talk. Today, I'd like to talk with you a little bit about what happens to a person when they go into Kundalini, taking certain types of plant helpers, such as psilocybin, such as marijuana, such as ibogaine, or in many cases the ayahuasca. The ayahuasca, also people tend to be smoking a lot of DMT, which is an acronym for dimethyltryptamine. These do not necessarily have to have deleterious effects on a person, but neither do they necessarily have positive effects on an individual. One of the most benign out of all of them would be the marijuana. And once again, I'm not really promoting marijuana use or any of the plant helper uses that people would gravitate towards, such as magic mushrooms, psilocybin being one of the worst ones that a person can use. These plant helpers, if you're not on a Kundalini path, well, they can be a positive way to access certain levels of information without having the awakened Kundalini. But if you have that, if you have the awakened Kundalini and you try these things, there can be a very, very, very serious blowback from that. And so I will, once again, as I've done in other shows, I will counsel you to have extreme caution and extreme awareness when you're doing, if you're exploring psilocybin or dimethyltryptamine or ibogaine or muscimol, or any of the hallucinogens, such as I'm trying to think of that one in South America, San Pedro. So be very, very aware of this, that the Kundalini can amplify the effects of these, what the scientific term is entheogen. These entheogens, they're beautiful, they're wonderful, but they will do you as much as you will do them. And when they do you with Kundalini enhancement, it can last for years. So just be very, very, very aware of this. I mean, I know a lot of people are familiar with Terence McKenna's work and the term psychonaut. PSYCHYCONAUT, psychonaut. And these are people that would try the different entheogens, and just to see what levels of information could be gained through, just a second here, through that type of exploration. So it's very, very, very important that you be very, very aware of what it is you're doing within a Kundalini context. If you don't have Kundalini, and you're marked to have it, or the patterns of probability in your life would indicate that you're going to have the Kundalini. That can be an activation sequence for you. And if you do awaken the Kundalini under the help of some of these plants or fungi, the activation sequence itself can be very, very, very drawn out. It can be very nice. It can be very beautiful. It can also be very, very debilitating. It can be so debilitating that you won't be able to really operate your life for a certain amount of time. And I can't say, generally speaking, that how long a time you wouldn't be able to function, or how long a time the bliss or the joy might happen because that's going to be unique to each person. That will be unique to each individual karma. So, but once again, as I've done in other shows, I'm going to counsel you about this. Now, as far as the marijuana goes, the marijuana that people were smoking in the 60s and 70s is nowhere near the level of power that that plant has gained in its, many levels of hybridization and selected breeding practices to increase the level of THC coming through it. So it's very important for a person to remember that, it is not as easygoing as your mom or your dad may have had back in the 60s. Or, you as an individual may have experimented with in the 60s. It's much more powerful. And, it is so powerful that it can be debilitating to drive, with that type of a scenario. And I know that you can, you can have a very positive interaction with that as you explore the Kundalini. That is one of the more benign aspects to it. But once again, these are all crutches. These entheogens are all crutches. You do not need to do any of these things. Okay? You could just do your meditation. You could do your chakra breathing. You could do the practice of the safeties. Now, I am planning a trip in February 2016 down to Peru, and I spoke with my contact last night. His brother operates a tour, kind of a tourist system down there, and he has a bus and all of that, and so we'll be hooking up with him, and there will be a trip to Cusco being planned for that excursion. But for the most part, we're going down to have the ayahuasca, this entheogen that I'm talking about, in addition to the other entheogens. Now, the ayahuasca is not addictive. It is not so much a euphoric-based plant helper. This is a purification system. This will purify your emotions. This will purify your physical body. In the Brazilian terminology, that's called la purga, meaning you will purge. You will purge, my friend, and you will purge. And there's a special diet to be adhered to before you take the ayahuasca so that you don't have to purge too much, okay? You'll still energetically purge anyway, but, you can mitigate this to a large degree by following the dietary responses. So we will be going down there in 2016, February 2016. So if you're interested, go ahead and contact me on my Facebook, which is Chris Mitchell on the Facebook networks, or you can also contact me, KFireForAll, KFireForAll @yahoo.com. So feel free to do that as well. I'm gonna limit it to about 12 people if I can do that. Okay. So with that in mind, now you may be asking your question. Well, if you're saying you don't need this, it's a crutch, blah blah blah. Why are you even going down there to do it? Well, because I do feel it is important for people to have some level of reference point for what can happen when the Kundalini comes up, and the ayahuasca is evidently the safest scenario for that to occur. I've taken the ayahuasca. It was very benign. It didn't bother my Kundalini at all. Now, other people that have never had Kundalini before, and they took the ayahuasca, they had absolutely amazing results. And the only real problem with that, and if you've watched any of the videos, it was Bradley, the only problem with that is, wow, you get so blown away that, well, you're going to say, well, forget about the practice. I don't want to take all that time. I just want to drink the ayahuasca tea, and there I go. And it is so amazing that would be something that a person would want to do. But let me tell you, the gentleman that I just mentioned, we continued our journey after that initial experience for him, and he could never, ever reclaim the first level of grace that Kundalini gave to him through the ayahuasca. In other words, the Kundalini said, okay, here, I will give you a taste of enlightenment, but now you must earn the rest of that glass of wine, that enlightened wine. And so I don't want you to think that you can go down there and use ayahuasca and then, boom, you're enlightened. That's not going to happen. Don't have that expectation. And don't give up your practice either. Everybody that goes down, I want to be in an active practice of the safety protocols. If you're associated with me on this trip and you're not doing that, I don't want you on the trip. Safety first, everybody. Safety first. And now I'm gonna ask Amelia to ask the group if I'm still coming in clear.
Okay, group. Can somebody type that, please? Okay, nobody's typing. Did you hear Chrism ask if he's coming in clear? Can you do it, Elizabeth, or Fashji, or Cole? Just type if he is sounding okay still. You're sounding fine to me. Atlantis Seeker is typing. You sound fine to me, Chrism. Not quite as clear, not quite as, let's say, the clarity isn't the same, but it's still excellent. Yes, Elizabeth says yes, and Atlantis Seeker says, yep, he sounds fine to me. Fashji says he is fine, and Elizabeth says you are super clear. So that's all good?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everyone, for chipping in on that. Okay, so with the ayahuasca, you can get a taste of it, and so this is why I'm arranging this trip for long now. And your blockages, your mental health.
Okay, Chrism, it's not fine now. Can we have, hello? Chrism, you're cutting in and out now. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're going to have to carry it, Amelia. Carry it. I got 2 bars.
Okay, will you be ringing back? Okay, I'm going to carry it. Okay. Well, do you know what I'll do now while we wait and see if Chrism is going to ring back in again? I'm going to take the opportunity to let you know about another activity that's happening. Chrism will be coming to Europe at the end of August, and he has been invited to be a guest speaker at the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. Chrism spoke at this conference before, back in 2013, 2 years ago, and he has been invited back again. So he's going to be there on August 28th, August 29th, and August 30th. And if you want to go to the website, it's www.tcche.org, and there you will find all the information about the various speakers that will be in London, and you can book your ticket online. Chrism, you're back again? Yay.
Yay, hello everybody. Hello, thank you for tap dancing there, Amelia.
You're
I'm
welcome.
sure you're as graceful as always.
I did not fall into the sink while I was tap dancing, which is always a good thing.
Thank you. All right, and so the scenario is it's really good to have reference points with how Kundalini can feel, but let's also consider the actuality that Kundalini can be awakened through ayahuasca use. We're planning on doing it at least 6 times, with a day or 2 for processing, depending on what my friend Ishmael, how he feels about it. He's the shaman that'll be singing the ceremony. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up, and I want you to understand that I have interacted with people that have had serious Kundalini syndrome come on to them because they were doing things like magic mushrooms. They were actually mixing entheogens. They were mixing magic mushrooms. They were doing some sort of a kind of like a black tar type heroin type thing, or they were doing very, many different and sundry, I might add, things. And I don't want you to do that. I do not recommend that at all. Not at all. Okay? I don't recommend that at all. And if you do that, you're asking for trouble. I promise you, you'll be asking for trouble. But with ayahuasca, it is different. Ayahuasca itself can be used for the elimination of addictions, for a change of mental status, emotional status, and it can really, really be beneficial for a person within a Kundalini context. So please understand that, and I'm going to go ahead and move into the next subject that the Kundalini in me is urging me to discuss with you, and that is with relationships. Relationships in the Kundalini can be very, very, very volatile. I've seen it act out in a person. I'll give a person a very, very light Shaktipat, and that person will just respond with huge levels of emotional expression, physical expression, mental expression. It's a very, very, very potent and powerful area of the Kundalini interaction. You'll hear my blinkers right now. I'm turning into a rest area for Brooke and her dog Minz here to take care of their business. Idea of relationship in Kundalini, and I'm going to be about as brutally blunt with this as I can be. If you're in a relationship and your spouse or the person you're in that relationship with is not supporting the Kundalini in you or its expression through you, it's going to be a very, very difficult relationship. You may not have the longevity that you would prefer to have with this. It's going to be very, 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 very painful at times and very, very punishing at times as well. And that punishment comes in the form of severe arguments with that spouse. You'll try to make them believe what you may be experienced with regards to the Kundalini. You'll really try to convince them that what you're having is real, and they'll go into the science and say science doesn't say it's real, therefore it's not real, honey. You just need to be medicated, and there's going to be all kinds of problems if you're in a relationship with a person that doesn't at least honor your right to have a Kundalini awakening. Okay, it's a big deal, folks. It's a big, big deal. And a lot of people attempt the medical route, and, once again, it becomes a very disastrous, very, very, very difficult scenario to have and love and compassion and passion for. Not everybody is as lucky as John and Amelia O'Connor. Okay, not everybody is as lucky as Sebastian, his spouse, and Elizabeth and Al and and all these folks. Some people will not even be allowed to have a normal, quote unquote, normal relationship. They will be forced into having an alternative type of relationship, a relationship where the Kundalini takes them aside and says, no, you will not be allowed to pick your relationship partner. You will not be allowed to have a normal, proper relationship. You will be given a person or persons that require a very, very, very special level of frequency, a special level of spiritual frequency, a special level of energetic frequency, a special level of karmic frequency. And these people have been marked by the Kundalini. They will not have normal relationship until the Kundalini and I mean this, until the Kundalini itself finds that relationship for those people. Am I coming through on this? I just heard a little sound. Hello?
Yes, Chrism, you're coming through very well.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the truck is off right now, so it should be
Yeah,
fine.
that was very good. You were driving and doing the show, like the sound check earlier. It was perfect. I didn't even know you were traveling.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
And I presume everybody else can hear me as well. You're coming
Yes.
very clear.
Yes, everybody is going yes, 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 and they all will. If it changes, I know they're going to type in Chrism, so don't be concerned. Cole says he's impressed.
So the scenario.
Okay.
Well, yeah, this is a King 200 headset, so I just copied what the truckers have here, who I'm parked right next to, as a matter of fact. Anyway. Some people are marked by the Kundalini to not be able to have a normal relationship, and they are being pushed by the Kundalini into an alternative style of relationship. And this doesn't necessarily mean, a homosexual style of relationship or a style of relationship where it's where celibacy is practiced. Not at all. I'm not suggesting that at all. Although, certainly the celibatic or the celibacy aspect will come and go often within the Kundalini awakening experience. So be aware of this for those of you that are single right now, and you seem to be going through one person after another person after another person, and it's not ending well. And even during the actual activity of the relationship itself, it's not going well. Some of you are not supposed to have and hold that beloved for very long at all. You're supposed to wait for the Kundalini to choose it for you. That person will be drawn to you. That person and you yourself will be drawn to each other. And there's no way for you to just look through the general population and go, oh, that person's for me, that must be the one, or something of that nature. It is not like that at all. So be aware of that, my friends. Some of you will have your mates picked for you by the Kundalini.
Chrism, Mary Jean here says thank you for speaking about that. She has a very strange long-term semi-relationship, and it's very confusing sometimes. And I have to ask as well, you're not speaking though about twin flames, are you?
Twin flames.
I have to bring it up because there's been a big discussion on the group. Like, these are separate things you're speaking about. What you're speaking about is a different thing completely. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah, twin flames. Jeez Louise. Okay, I will try to be as respectful as I can, because I know a lot of people are buying into that whole twin flame scenario. Twin flames are not so common. Not saying they don't exist, and of course, as I mentioned on the Kundalini Awakening exclamation group on Facebook, for the amount of people that desire and are so sincerely buying into the whole twin flame scenario, they themselves, they will set them up to have that. They will set themselves up to have whatever their expectations are from a twin flame, or from what they're calling a twin flame. This is really a kind of like a romanticized creation, much the same way that, many of the people wish to have some sort of a special person out there just waiting for them, and oh my gosh, just someday my love will come to me, and oh yes, the world will just open up, and I will be so entranced with them, be so entranced with me, it'll be just so beautiful. Or not. It's kind of a Hollywood kind of, pennies from heaven type of scenario. So, But I say, let them have their fantasies. Let them have what they need to have to bring them into whatever spiritual level of understanding about life that they want to have. Going after the twin flame, except for the existence of the person they might happen to be married to, that may be kind of a short path to ruining a marriage unnecessarily. But it's not about the twin flames at all. And frankly, I don't really have a lot of resonance with the whole twin flame scenario. So certainly not within a Kundalini context. However, let's go ahead and just continue onward with this discussion about the twin flame. Now, if a person has been called by their Kundalini, and I'm going to be starting up this truck, folks, so you're going to hear a few sounds here. If a person has been called by the Kundalini towards, say, another person in their life, someone they may go to church with, or someone they see in a class, or some such of a thing, they can confuse that for twin flame. They would look on the web and they would go, oh gosh, I'm feeling really super attracted to a person that I'm not married to, and I don't know so well, and I can tell that they're being really attracted to me, and yet they're married and I'm married, and oh my God, WTF do I do about that? And is that Kundalini related? Well, it could very well be Kundalini related, but it is certainly not a twin flame scenario. The Kundalini can indeed be calling a person into merging with another person that they're not married to, and that fits very within this subject of Kundalini and relationship, because what do you do with your spouse if you're being pulled into relationship with somebody that you're not married to and they're already married? What do you do then, folks? How do you follow the course set to you by the Kundalini when it goes against so many of our social restrictions? How do you do that? And so I'm going to say that you're going to have a real strong look inside yourself. And if you're going to make the case that the Kundalini is pulling you into this other person, and this person is being pulled into you, and that's a very, very, very strong point. That person must also be pulled into you. It can't be a one-way ticket. If it's a one-way ticket, then it's a one-way ticket to disaster. Unless of course, your marriage is on the rocks already. And you need to be very clear that you're not using your attraction to another person as a way to redefine your marriage, or to give you enough gumption to actually go through the divorce process or things of that nature. You need to be very, very clear and very honest yourself. Every marriage is going to have its problems. Every marriage is going to have, issues with fidelity, and issues with emotional outbursts, and issues with, just living the mundane life together. Is the toilet lit up? Is the toothpaste cap screwed on or off? I mean, these things are natural for marriages to go through. And, you're going to need to be very, very clear about whether you're just tired of being with a person and you're not willing to put the work and the tolerance and the forgiveness and the patience and the love back into the marriage. And you may be using this as a way out, as opposed to the Kundalini basically not giving you any other option. Not giving that other person any other option. And their life is going to be a living hell unless they are together. And, in that case, the chips are going to have to fall with you following the impetus and the compelling emotional structure that the Kundalini is insisting that you follow. And that will probably mean divorce, 2 divorces. Because I don't know, I mean, except in special cases, I don't know too many people that are willing to share their spouse with another person. Now, I think it should be. I think it should be absolutely okay. I think you know that spouse should love you enough that if you're inside of a Kundalini compelling, that you be allowed to expand your grace, expand your love by virtue of an emotional contact and even a physical contact with another person that way. But it's just not. It's not a happy day in the spousal Western society. Am I coming through clearly with this, Amelia?
Yes, Chrism, you are coming through really clear.
Okay, all right.
Excellent.
So these are difficult.
Yeah,
these are very, very difficult areas. And before you just jump on the Kundalini and say, "Oh my God, it's the Kundalini that's pulled me in," I would really suggest that you go through a checklist of your marital interest in the first place, and make sure that you have face-to-face, vocal, verbal contact with that other person before you start any kind of a divorce proceeding. The Kundalini will feed you fantasies, but so will your ego feed you fantasies. So you make sure, you make double, triple, quadruple sure that this is actually what is occurring, and that you really don't have any other emotional options before you terminate what you have in hand and in heart, and you basically begin the process of breaking somebody else's heart, which is a huge, huge, huge karmic burden. So you make absolutely sure that if you feel it is the Kundalini calling to you, and that person also feels the same way, that you have no choice about it. And I mean, I would just as soon have you stay married and have that infidelity for a short time, just to make sure you guys aren't just getting caught up in passion. Release the passion. Do it as much as you need to in order to release that passion, but don't sacrifice the emotional body of another person just because the Western taboo laws say that you cannot experience that outside of your union. These Edwardian Victorian morals that we still cling to 200 years, after their assignment into our society. Surely we can be a little more mature emotionally about what love is and the expansion of love. I mean, it's certainly okay for parents to love more than one child, is it not? You can love Johnny, you can love Jenny, you can love Teresa, you can love Frank. So the human does have the capacity to love more than one person. And that is also echoed in nature as well. So anyway, if a person feels that they're being pulled by the Kundalini towards another person outside of their marriage, start ticking off that checklist. Make sure that you're in as much neutrality as you can be before you begin the process of possibly breaking your spouse's heart. Hopefully not just for quick passion. Now I'm sorry, I just touched that microphone. The other scenario is that you're not inside of a relationship right now, and as the person in the chat room indicated, it's been a very strange and off again, on again type of relationship. This can happen, but it can also happen if you're resisting the Kundalini. If you're resisting what your Kundalini wants you to do, so i.e., say the Kundalini doesn't want you to have that relationship, but hey, the person's their eye candy, they're nice, they've got money, they're responsible people. I mean, in every way, you should be attracted to them. And yet the Kundalini is saying, no, no, no. And that will put you into resistance with the Kundalini. And so, you will touch and go with them. You will touch with them, you'll be with them, you'll merge yourself with them, your body with them, your emotions with them, but then you'll be forced to pull back forth until finally, if you're smart, you give in to what the Kundalini wants you to do, and you pull away from that. You allow that person the freedom to have a beautiful, wonderful, happy relationship with somebody else, not you. Somebody else, not you. Okay? So that's not an easy thing, because nobody likes to be alone in this world. Nobody likes to be without a partner or a mate, especially, when you're looking at the sex drive that is being increased by the Kundalini. The Kundalini is amplifying your, the sexual nature, and you're definitely looking for a way to express that amazing level of passion that the Kundalini can engender within a person. You need to surrender yourself to the Kundalini. I am going to advise that. My advice to you, my dear friend, my fellow traveler, is that you ask the Kundalini to send you that person. And you will know it without a shadow of a doubt. There will not be any question for you about whether this person is appropriate for you or not. But you must give it into the Sacred Mother. You must give it into her to begin to choose and select and vet those people for you. You will feel sometimes like you're falling into them. Like if you see a picture of them, or if you see them off in a distance, you'll feel yourself magnetically drawn to them. Okay, and if they're a married person, they're not the right one for you. Okay, and I know that's kind of cutting with a broad axe. If they're a married person, they're not the one for you, because you don't know that they're not on the verge of a divorce or anything like that. But I welcome you to do your research. But once again, you don't want to be a part of somebody's heartbreak just for your own selfish interests. Okay? So a lot of this is learning how to discern signals from the Kundalini versus signals from your own ego. It's the easiest thing to do. Am I coming in clear with this, Amelia?
Yes, Chrism, you are. I'm going on the red when you're talking just to make sure there's no interference. You're coming in really clearly. There's some conversation in the chat room, so I will, if you're ready, I will share that.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I have to scroll it. So Tanya says, Tanya says, this is so exactly what, I hate when it does that, it pops out of view. 1 second now. Tanya says, I have to scroll. This is so exactly, I'm sorry, it just keeps popping out of my view, Chrism, automatically. I'll try again. This is so exactly what I need to hear tonight. It's really amazing. I can't believe how every word could be totally just for me. I was just discussing with my son's father that I am going to pursue a relationship with someone else who I met for the first time today. I don't feel like I honestly want anything from either of them, but I am trying to follow guidance. I don't believe my ego is doing this. It's not what I want. And Mary Jean says, that's what happened to me in the first place, and after 17 years of total celibacy at that.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, if you now to Tanya, if you're not. If you don't want anything from either one of them, why have either one of them? Why pursue the other one too? If If there's not something, I mean, and you met the person one time, I would suggest a little more research before you turn the family upside down. One time is a singular event. Let a pattern of interest develop. Let a pattern of interaction develop, and then I think you can make a clearer decision based upon that pattern. I loathe am I to give you advice about what you're doing. I mean, certainly, you will, we all pay the price for our own decisions. But if this is guided by your Shakti, that is one thing. If this is guided by a lack of a better opportunity, well, then that's another. And it may be that you don't need either one. You may need to wait, a little bit longer, and you may need to have that conversation with your Kundalini before you have that conversation with your son. Except having the conversation with your son, I think, is beneficial from the outlay simply because, something on the horizon is developing, and that development certainly seems to be a quality of change in the family disposition at this time. So blessings to you, Tanya. And then the other lady who's had the celibacy for 17 years. Yeah, sometimes that is exactly it. I've had celibacy for a very long time too as well, and then have it suddenly end due to Kundalini incursion. So yeah, it sounds like you've been following that guidance. Sounds like I think that was Mary Jane. Is that right?
Mary Jean, yes, and but that was 20 years ago. If I'm understanding her, she had celibacy for 17 years, and 20 years ago it stopped. But I surrender often, and it continues. Yeah.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds really wonderful. Now, I'm going to go ahead and...
Mary Jean is typing, or at least Tanya is typing, Chrism, so she may have something further to say in a minute, and if she does, I'll come back again to you with that.
Okay. Now I'm going to introduce another subject here, and the subject is the Dark Mother, the D-A-R-K Mother. And who would be the Dark Mother, Amelia?
I was just after going blue. The Dark Mother would be the Shakti.
No.
No?
No.
The Dark Mother.
Who would be Saint Sarah in a Kundalini context?
Who would be who?
Never mind. I'm talking about the Dark Kali. Kali, the destructive mother. Yes. Now, did the typers get their words out yet?
Fashti just put in Kali.
Fashti knows. So the Dark Mother.
I think of Kali and Shakti as one and the same, actually. So, yeah.
Well, she is. She's an aspect of Shakti. I know.
Yeah.
I know you have to be right. I understand. I get it.
Okay. Whenever you want to. Tanya has made a point. If you want me to do that before you begin.
Please.
Yeah. She says, my relationship with my son's father was over. He is now trying very hard to rebuild it, but I'm not who I was. When I say I don't want anything from either of them, I mean I don't have an agenda in terms of preferences.
Right. So
I had been talking to the man I met today for a while before we met. I'm assuming online.
If there is no agenda, how can there be a relationship? If there is nothing that you want from either one, what's the point? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna continue onward here. Uh, the Dark Mother can take a hold of you. Kali can take a hold of you. She can actually begin to destroy your current life. And this is part of the Kundalini transformation. I'm riding with a young lady right now. Her name is Brooke Robertson. And the Kali literally lit into her life and changed it so radically and so abruptly. Am I right, Brooke? She said I'm right. That her head is still spinning from the speed of it, the rapidity of it, and the direction of it. And it can leave a person to wonder, what the heck is going on? Why me, number one? And of course I always say, why not you? And the other thing is what is a person to do? Of course, people will say, oh, we'll practice the safety protocols. And I'll say, of course, you practice the safety protocols. And even though you're practicing the safety protocols, you're trying for sincerity, but you're watching you're watching this Kundalini fragmentation happen all around you, and you're going, WTF do I do now? I'm practicing the safeties, but nothing's changing. I'm still my life is being demolished. My serenity is going away. My privacy is going away. My safety is going away. And oh, by the way, my money is going away too, because I'm not being allowed to work. I'm not being allowed to make the ends meet. What on earth should I do? And I'm going to suggest that you just surrender yourself to the Shakti. You surrender completely. You do not let concerns of money, you do not let concerns of safety or security or any of the old friends from the path that you're on. You let the Kundalini lead you, and she will lead you definitively, without a doubt. And it will surprise and it will shock your ego into total resistance. But you need to put that resistance away. Resisting the Kundalini is like resisting a hurricane. As that hurricane bears down on you, and you know that you live in a trailer, a little, balsa wood trailer or boat, and that hurricane bearing down on you, and everything, and the Shakti's trying to pull you underwater, because, that's one of the places that might be a little safer than on the surface is under the water. So dive, the Shakti's saying, and you're going, no, I like my little boat, I like my little trailer, I like it, I like my life as it is, even though it's totally crap. I like my life as it is, even though it's totally crap. I like it. You see what I'm saying? It just kind of goes on and on and on. And pretty soon, a giant squid will reach up and pull you under the water. And you'll be gasping for air. You'll be held underwater so long you won't think that you're going to live. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in the eye of the hurricane. And the hurricane is still happening all around you, but you can breathe. And you can see for a fact that you have survived that initial onslaught of the Sacred Mother, of Kali. Even though you were in resistance, she pulls you through it. And the Kundalini will pull you through it. I don't care what level dark night soul you're experiencing. I don't care what level Kundalini fragmentation you're experiencing. You will make it through if you surrender to the Kundalini. Am I coming through?
You've stopped talking, though. You need to talk so I know. Hello?
Oh, okay. I'm still coming through then, right?
Yes, you are.
Oh, good. Okay, now did the relationship thing get resolved at all, or there's still people commenting on that?
Well, Tanya says, I ask what to do each day at each point. So what is the point of anything?
Well, there's a very definite point in everything. You can choose to be optimistic or you can choose to be pessimistic. that is a choice that we all get to make within this, and this really ties in with the Dark Mother, with Kali. I mean, you know, you can choose to be your Kundalini fragmentation or the fragmentation of your relationship as a positive, healthy venture into a change, a transformation, or you can choose to see it, you know, as a negative, hurtful, painful, always to be resisted scenario. Now, my understanding is that Tanya, I get the feeling that you're kind of excited about this new possibility, and so, and based upon what you subsequently have written, it sounds like this would be something that you want to pursue anyway. I would certainly counsel you to let the husband know that he's wasting his time. If that is truly the case for you, you know, don't leave him twisting in the wind. You know, and you know, which can happen so much in these types of scenarios. Be honest, be truthful, be trustful, and be forgiving, and you know, let the person know that there is no hope for reconciliation. And then, with, you know, in line with the Dark Mother and the Kali, and as she transforms the person, it may indeed be time for that transformation to take place, not only to you but to the spouse as well. And it may not be a permanent transformation either. You know, when we're looking at an alternative relationship, we need to look way outside of the box when it comes to Kundalini. Way outside of the box. I mean, you might, you know, as strange as burying the owl sitting on the limb outside of your window at night. I mean, way outside of the box, because Kundalini does not conform to our social taboos, to our social agreements about what is appropriate and what isn't. Matter of fact, Kundalini will go way outside of those terms. And at the same time, you know, we'll honor those terms in people too. All I'm saying really is to let go of any kind of restriction you may have with regard to what is appropriate
Chrism,
and what isn't.
Up. You're breaking up a little bit again.
Let me see what's going on here. Well, I got 4 bars.
Okay, you haven't moved any of the equipment, no?
No. Are you? Hello? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. That's a bit better again now. Yeah.
I'm eating the mic, everybody. Go ahead.
Tanya says as well, okay, I want an open relationship, and I have told him that.
Well, there you go. That's about as honest as you can get. So there you have it, my friend. Honesty and integrity is definitely the path of Kundalini, and there you have it. So yeah.
No, no, it's fine, Chrism. Continue. You're after coming back in again. Pretty good, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, with the Dark Mother, I want you to remember that surrender is the most important thing for her. You let her have her way with you, not your way with her. If you try to have your way with her, she's going to demolish you. And she will force her way upon you. And that force can really, really be painful. So with the Dark Mother, with Kali, make sure that you take your ego out of the control seat. And don't expect the changes to be, you know, perfect for you all the time. Don't expect your ego to accept this. You're going to have to change the ego mind. Shakti's not going to do it always for you. Kali's not always going to do it for you. You have as well. You're going to have to lift a finger too. It's not all about what can be done for you. We're not all little princes and princesses that just lift our finger and say, "Oh, Daddy, change that for me. Mommy, change that for me. Change the TV channel." Very important for you to know that. Especially you, Amelia.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I'm ready for your questions. The questions you may have gleaned.
I have questions. Okay, here we go. There's one or two about twin flames which I'm going to ignore because you really have covered that really so well that there's no point in asking them. So, okay. Can people attach to your energy or kundalini like an entity? So can people attach to you? Yeah.
Yeah. People can be energy vampires. People can just want to touch you, and just by touching you, they partake of your energy. And entities most certainly can do that. Oh my gosh, entities specialize in that, especially groups of them. So yeah, the question being, can entities or people attach to you in order to consume your energy? Yeah, they can, most certainly. And it's, as above, so below, as within, so without. I mean, if you just look in the world around you, look at the world of mosquitoes and fleas and ticks and mites, and there are energetic equivalents to those creatures as well. And they will attach to your aura. They will attach to your body. And they will, suck up energy at your expense. But I'm not going to say, run for the raid. There is no equivalent, to raid in an energetic level. You wouldn't want that anyway. What you want to do is you want to just learn to be calm, be cool, realize that just as much as you partake of others' energies, such as cows, chickens, pigs, plants, air, water, earth, minerals, just so are you also that energetic gift to other forms of creation. Just exalt the divine within yourself. Let the divine within you hold true and allow it to have grace upon you. Looking at a beautiful sculpture here in the middle of the desert. How cool is that? Wow. Anyway, yeah, we're actually traveling across the what would be the Utah equivalent of the Bonneville Flats. How very cool is that? Anyway, so don't be shocked or amazed that a flea might land upon your energetic body and begin to consume your energy. Just don't let it grow too big. You got to understand that the human scalp has over 350 species of mites just in the scalp. Unless you're washing your hair with Raid, you've got other living organisms that are living off of you already. Don't let that freak you out, that they would also live off of your energy. Don't let that freak you out. Next question, my dear.
Does anyone have an experience with Rudraksha? Do they have any positive or negative?
What is that?
Let me spell it. Rudraksha. Are they beads?
Rudraksha beads. God,
yeah.
I expect you to know all about that.
Well, I don't. I just got a thing there. They're beads.
Rudraksha.
Yeah.
Rudraksha beads, they're kind of a special wood that you get in India. They can either be blessed by a saint or something like that. No, you don't require them. And if you have them, no, it's no guarantee that you're going to awaken anything. It's all basically kind of a little mini belief system within the Hindu culture. That if you have the Rudraksha beads and you're wearing them, or you're saying your mantra with your Rudraksha beads, that you're going to automatically become enlightened, and it's just not true at all.
Okay. So do they have any positive or negative effects?
Well, they have a positive quality, I think, in the fact that they give people an external element of belief that something external in their life can help them into enlightenment. And if they're saying their mantra with their Rudraksha beads, well, at least they're saying their mantra and they're believing with sincerity that the Rudrashka beads are helping them, and I think that's a good thing. What do you think?
Well, the question is, do they have any positive or negative effect in the Kundalini process? So I suppose from that perspective, yes, it would have a positive effect.
Right. So if it's helping them be closer to divinity, if it's helping them to recognize the physicality of divinity within themselves, then it's a positive thing. Thinking that the Rudrashka is the source of their divinity or the source of their awakening, then no. You know, that's kind of a negative thing to some degree. I mean, either way, they're being exposed to divinity based upon a little mini belief system. It's the same thing as any other bead. You know, the Catholics, they have their, what do you call them, Amelia? Rosary.
Rosary, yeah.
The Catholics have their rosary, and you know, the rosary is just as effective as a Rudrashka bead. You know, and some other belief system have, you know, takatoys, the special takatoy that you would rub in a certain way, and oh my gosh, enlightenment would come. Or puka shells. Remember the puka shell thing, and that, you know, that started out as a religious thing as well. I mean, so yeah, you can attach holy significance to anything, and as long as you practice that holy significance with that thing can help you into a divine understanding.
Okay, thank you. The next question, when I was meditating today, the prayer to the Shakti kept coming in my mind, so I just let it keep going like a mantra. Is this acceptable? I don't want to storm the gates of heaven on accident. Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Now, that's very nice. That's very nice. I would suggest that person do the Shaktipat. I think the Shaktipat is calling to them, which is where we use that prayer for the most part. So I would suggest that. Now, that is a particularly powerful prayer that was given to me as I was exploring different ways of initiating spinal sweeps. So, you know, that the prayer to Shakti is very, very powerful. Make sure that if you say it once, you say it 3 times. It is not a singular prayer. It is a trinary prayer. Trinary, a trinary prayer. You never say it once, you never say it twice. You always must say it to a patient of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, that type of thing, okay?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chrism.
Yes,
I see the color blue during meditation. What's the reason behind this? Help me, please.
Well, okay, so I can only answer within a Kundalini context what that might be, and that might be the Kundalini coming to a person, the sacred male, the Shiva, the energy of the sacred male coming over that individual, and they should be having more than just. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Look at the reflection. Wow. They should be having more than just that phenomenon. Okay? It should be more than just blue. And if they're not having at least one other phenomena associated with that, then you know, I'm going into more of a questionable mode. My grace right now, I'll suggest that in a Kundalini context, it would be the sacred male.
Okay, thank you, Chrism. Why does Chrism give Shaktipat to people who already have the Kundalini awakened?
Oh, that's very easy. Kundalini awakening is not a one-time stop. It's a continuous build upon a person. And so if a person that has Kundalini and if they want more balance, if they want to be moved into another stage of the awakening, if their Kundalini is calling them into that, then by all means, they should take it. And then my compelling, what the Kundalini compels me to do is to give Shaktipat. And it's also orchestrated around and a practice of the safeties, and those safeties are always beneficial, whether or not you're activated, awakened, or striving to be one or the other.
Thank you, Chrism. Can Chrism please explain more about what he means by balancing within a Kundalini process? And on the blurb that I wrote today, I wrote a bit about balancing, to go with the show. So I think the person is referring to that. I'll read it, actually. That's what I'll do. 2 seconds. So what I wrote was, and this is your writing, Chrism. By balancing, I do not mean the elimination of the hurt or the burden of what occurred to actuate the wound. Balance in this regard is the completed karmic burden, either through intentional forgiveness or through suffering or through knowledge and acceptance of the impending balance that may become due at another time. Sometimes there is a timeline associated with these issues, and they are released through that variance. Sometimes, through long suffering and acceptance of the burden, is the pain ameliorated. There are many, many permutations and combinations for the emotional body to be balanced. Intentional forgiveness and actions based on that are rapid and healthy, in my opinion. Yeah. So the person wanted. Chrism.
You did?
Chrism wrote it.
Chrism did.
And it's the quotation that I used to go along with the blog talk today. I always put one up, and the person is asking, could you say a bit more about that? Sorry, yeah.
What was his question about that? Oh, my gosh.
Okay, let me find it again. And I'm after losing it. Here it goes. Okay, so he says, or she says, can Chrism please explain more about what he means by balancing within a Kundalini process?
Finding balance is an expression of having a good and steady expression of the Kundalini amidst the phenomena that the Kundalini can bring. It allows you to surrender. It allows a non-resistant quality of response to Kundalini. It allows for a fearless perception. It allows for an inculcation of grace continuously. This is what I mean by a balanced expression of Kundalini. Okay?
Okay. Thank
Hello?
you, Chrism. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And the next question, and this might be the last one, it says, I have seen Hindu deities in my dreams, and it's happening more often recently. How can I know if I should worship them, or could they be entities?
Well, if you're seeing Hindu deities, you can pretty much, it's not going to be an entity. It's going to be an expression of a belief system that you may have participated in another existence. A lot of people have been pursuing Kundalini life after life after life after life. And in some of those lives, they may have had the Hindu permission to actively go for Kundalini. And, Hinduism is very strong and powerful and beautiful belief system. And so many people have the Hindu deities to them by virtue of what they once did and what they once believed in, not necessarily what they currently are doing or what they currently believe in. I wouldn't go to the entity route just yet. I mean, I'd have to see a far more corruptive influence before I would look at entities in that situation.
Okay, Chrism, thank you. That is actually the end of the questions for today. Will I just tell you who's in the chat room? Because we have Elizabeth.
Yeah, sure.
We have Elizabeth. We have Fashji. We have 4 guests with numbers. We have Lauren White. We have Mary Jean. Phil Caraburu-Brubra. We have Tanya. We have Bruno Rodriguez. And we have Cole. And on the line listening, by phone, we have Rosemary and we have Eileen.
Well, can we bring Rosemary on to make her announcement, please?
Yes, we can. Hi, Rosemary, you're on air. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Chrism, and thank you all the readers as well listening. That the next seminar in Minnesota will be November 14th and 15th, and I'm beginning to work on that as well here in town, and looking forward to that. And we'll have announcements weekly, and on the groups as well. So thank you, Chrism.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. And
you didn't give your address. You didn't give your name, though, Rosemary. Your email address or your phone number.
Yes, Rosemary G at usinternet.com, and my phone number 651-329-9615. Would be delighted to talk with anybody about the seminar and the details and the benefits. Thank you.
Excellent, my dear. Thank you, Rosemary. Can you also bring Eileen on, please?
Eileen, you're on air.
Thank you. Hello, Chrism.
Hi, Eileen. Can you make a little announcement about what might be happening in Florida?
Well, next year sometime, probably in late May or early June, we hope to have a seminar and also some talks set up. I'm in the process of checking dates and venues, and we'll give out more information as we put it together.
Thank you very much, Eileen, and thank you for all your hard work, and for Bruno for all his hard work too. Thank you very much, both of you. Okay, well, Amelia.
Yes, Chrism, can I make the announcement again about you coming to London and just give people the information about how to access that? So Chrism is coming to London on August 28th, 29th and 30th. He'll be speaking as a guest speaker at the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. There's quite a few guest speakers there, Greg Braden and a few other people as well. And Chrism, as I say, is speaking on the Saturday. And the website you can go to for further information is www.tcche.org, and you can find out how to get a ticket for the conference there, and you can also meet with Chrism at that time. Chrism is also doing a workshop the following week on Saturday the 5th of September, and as far as I know, the information about that, because it's also being organised by the person who's organising the conference, as far as I know, the information for that workshop is also on the website www.tcche.org. So anybody in the UK or even in Europe, it's a wonderful opportunity to come and meet with Chrism, hear him speak, meet in person, and meet other Kundalini people. I know Manisha is coming in from Germany, and there are other people that are in the UK that will be coming to meet with us too. Magdalene will be there, I'll be there, and there'll be other people there. So it's an opportunity to come to Europe. We hear a lot about the seminars in America, and, you know, not everybody can attend them from Europe. So now this is your chance. I'd encourage you, go to the website, and come meet Chrism in August.
I would love to meet all of you, every single one of you. And if you can come to the London event, it would be a blessing to see you there. And also that workshop that they're holding there is a one-day workshop, so it's not a 2-day workshop. So give you an opportunity to participate without having to spend as much time as a person normally would in the States.
Also, Tanya has just said there on the chat room she already has her ticket.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Looking forward to meeting you then, Tanya.
Definitely. I got to back up here now.
So, Chrism, did you do the show there while you were driving?
Yes,
Wow. That's a first, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think it is a first.
It was amazing. The sound was excellent. The excellent Chrism. I mean, we couldn't hear the engine. We couldn't hear any noise. I mean, it was really, really good quality for the most part. So well done.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for participating in this this version, I guess, of the Blog Talk Radio. I'm going to have to sign off now. I got to go to the bathroom at a rest stop here. It's been a pleasure, Amelia. I want to thank John O'Connor, Amelia O'Connor. I would like to thank everybody. I would like to thank Fashi, who I got to meet for the first time in 7 years. So Fashi is an amazing man, and I'll be posting a picture I took of him just to show you how amazing he is. And everybody, Cole, and everybody who was mentioned, Elizabeth and Bruno and Tanya,
Lauren, and
Mary, Jade, Lauren, everybody. All my love to you. I will be more than happy to talk with you again next week without my headphones, or maybe I'll just use these headphones if the clarity is there.
Yeah, it's
all
pretty
right,
good.
everybody.
Goodbye, Chris.
Good night.
Goodbye, Brooke. Bye-bye.